Okay, we are going to solve this quiz question that I had on one of the most recent quizzes. It's which fraction is bigger out of these three? So we'll just get right into it. You want to start by figuring out what the lowest, I'm just going to write this down. Lowest common multiple is between the numbers that you have. So we're looking for, guys, bear with me. I just bought this today or yesterday, but started using it today and I keep accidentally pressing a button. So lowest common multiple, LCM. So between 4, 3, and 8, what is the lowest common multiple? This is also often referred to as the lowest common denominator, LCD. Denominator, D for down. So, right, this is, one second, let me change the color. This is the numerator, and then D for down, this part of the fraction down here. We'll do it in yellow. That's not a good choice. Let's do it in this color. This is the denominator, D for down. So the number that's underneath the numerator is the denominator. That's the 4. So we're looking for the lowest common denominator between 4, 3, and 8. Okay, so what we can start off by doing is just writing some multiples of 4. Okay, so we'll do that right over here. I'm going to get, let's use, maybe we'll go to white. Okay, so multiples of 4 are 4. 4 times 1 is 4. 8. 12. 16. 20. And 24. Now we do the same thing for a 3 and 8. As I was saying, 12 and 12 has shown up in both lines, but let's keep going because we still have to do 8. And I can already tell you guys, and I'm sure you guys know too, 12 is not a multiple of 8. So we have 8, 16, whoops. Okay, so I think that's about as far as we're going to have to go, but I would love to continue to go over my 8 times table with you guys. Also, for 3, we do have to keep going. So 18, 21, 24. Oh, not my best 24. Okay. So as you guys can see, 12 and 12 only work for 4 and 3. If we want to be able to compare all 3 to each other, they need to have the same denominator. So we need to choose a number that works for all 3 numbers as the denominator. Right now, based off the denominators we have, we can't compare these mathematically. I mean, we could draw them to compare them, but that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is to mathematically be able to figure out which fraction is larger. So to do it mathematically, we have to do it this way. So like I said, the lowest common denominator for all 3 fractions would be 24. Of course, mathematically as well, a faster way to solve this, if you have a calculator, would be to turn these fractions into decimals and then compare which decimal is larger out of the three. We know that 3 over 4 is equal to well, I won't give it away, but 0.75. So just converting these on your calculator into decimals. But for most cases and for most students, you are going to be asked to do it this way. Exposing myself here. In most cases, students are going to be asked to do it this way by looking for the lowest common denominator. So we're going to stick to that method for this video. But if I was on a multiple choice question on a test or an exam and I was given the option of calculating versus doing this, it would be faster to turn these into decimals. So we're going to change this fraction so it has a denominator of 24. These will be equivalent fractions. Basically, that means if I plug this fraction into a calculator, it would give me 0.75. 3 divided by 4, 0.75. Whatever we end up with, if we plug that number into a calculator and do the division, so the numerator divided by the denominator, it will also be equal to 0.75, meaning these are equivalent fractions, and that'll be true for all three. All that to say, whatever we do to the bottom, we have to do to the top. So to turn 4 into 24, we multiplied by 6. If you look here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 4 times 6 is 24. So then we end up with having to do the same thing to the numerator. 3 times 6, which is 18. I want you guys to take this opportunity to pause the video and put 18 over 24 into your calculator. It should equal to 0.75, which means these two fractions are equivalent, and I successfully completed this mathematical problem. Now we do the same thing for 2 over 3. So with 2 over 3, we also have to put this fraction over 24. Why? It's so that we can compare them easily. So to turn 3 into 24, we multiplied by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if we multiplied the denominator by 8 to change it into 24, we also have to do that to the numerator. So we times the 2 by 8. 8 times 2 is 16. Okay, guys, I want you to do the same thing again. Pause the video and ensure that these two fractions are equal to the same number. And if you did that correctly and I did that correctly, it should be equal to 0.666 repeating. So we have one more fraction left. Make the colors match because I like it colorful. Okay, so 5 over 8. Again, the denominator is going to become 24. We already know this because that's our denominator, the common denominator that we chose. We had to figure out what number times, so what number times 8 equals to 24. We know this number from our last question is 3. So 8 times 3 is 24. So we have to do the same thing here. what you do to the bottom, you do to the top. So 5 times 3, and that'll give us our numerator. So 5 times 3 is 15. Now we're at a point where we can actually compare these fractions very easily. We can make a judgment about their relative, actually, I would also like you guys to, again, pause the video and do that math on your calculator. 5 divided by 8 and 15 divided by 24. The answers should be the same for both fractions if my math has been done correctly and if your math has been done correctly. Okay, so if you plug that in correctly, you should have gotten 6.25 for both, which means that they're equivalent. So now we can actually make some comparisons between these three fractions. So with certainty, we can say that 3 over 4, so now with certainty, we can say that 3 over 4 is the largest of the three fractions. And this one's second, and this one's third. So that's the smallest. And there you go. That is how you can compare fractions that have different denominators in order to make assessments about which one's larger or smaller in comparison to the other. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.